Hello guys, so today we are excited to welcome Adura to the Vital Voices. Adura, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Adura is a fitness expert, a certified personal and fitness trainer who combines both the aspect of nutrition and physical training. So newbies and even seasonal experts to achieve a new level of fitness goal. So today we'll be diving into some topics, myths, and similar discussions around health, wellness, and even physical training as well. And I'm excited to hear what Adra has to say today in terms of dropping insights to help take you to the next level, as well as even for me too. Welcome, Adra.
Thank you so much.
All right. So first and foremost, I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
But first and foremost, I would like you to tell us how you started your journey of being a fitness trainer.
Okay.
And being a certified fitness trainer, actually.
Okay. All right. So this actually makes me feel very old.
Yeah.
So I was going to say 20 years ago. Like, wow. Okay, I'm actually very old. I schooled here, so I did my primary and secondary education here. And most of the time, while I was here, I was active. I was in the track team, went for invitational relays. I ate a lot though, but I just always stayed in shape, because of my active life. When I moved to the UK, times were different then, because now you can buy a burger if you want to in Nigeria. But then, I'm talking in the 1990s, buying a burger was like a big deal, like almost like a luxury to be honest. So I didn't really eat burgers or things like that in Nigeria. I moved to the UK and everything in abundance. I ended up working in a fast food chain for like pocket money for 6 months, and I gained a ton of weight. I literally got close to 200 pounds in weight, and that was because my love for food finally took over. And through that, I was that size for a couple of years. I saw a picture of myself one day and I couldn't believe it. I was like, who is this? And then that's where my journey started. I joined the weight loss program, lost weight, struggled a bit with the physical. When I started working out, started to gain weight again. I couldn't find the right balance on how to maintain my weight and eat well and work out, all of that together. So in all of that time, I educated myself. I started to carry some people along. I had a blog. I found my passion for it. To fast forward quickly, because I had lots of life events. I lost my mom, which when you realize that, life is too short, do what you love, that kind of, like what you see in the movies. But it didn't happen that quickly. I found out the cost of getting a certification. I was like, maybe not. But thankfully, things worked out, and that's what got me on the journey where I got certified as a good fitness instructor first. That's the first level, and then not less than a year later, I then trained as a personal trainer and got certified as well, and so all in the UK before I moved back to Nigeria in 2014.
Nice. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that, and I guess the relating note is I feel like, growing up, if you are into sports, I feel like there's typically two routes folks go. The moment they quit sports post high school, the appetite doesn't adjust as fast, and you blow up. Or there's the other people that become extra fit. Mm-hmm. They stay fit, right? But it's literally, there's no other, same with my friends, right? It was one or the other, it was binary. Mm-hmm. I would say it's like, I feel like it is very difficult to find that balance. Like, what helped you, I guess, go from, diets or something to like a lifestyle that allowed you to maintain what you wanted?
Well, that's the word maintain. So that's what got me to where I was, because I realized that I was always struggling. I would start to eat well, and then maybe think, okay, I'm okay, I start to lose weight. Then I start working out, I think I can eat a bit more, and I start to gain weight. So I was thinking, how am I going to find the balance? It just felt I couldn't maintain the size I wanted to. I was either too skinny, or I was starting to gain too much weight. I just couldn't figure it out. So that was my motivation to maintain, and I had to do there was research done, but also I had to personally experience it. So that's what I knew, that because I was tired of the up and down,
of course,
and I had to do something about it. That was my major motivation, my personal experience.
Is there? Because there's you hear about this all the time, like get fit quick. Like, what are these? Like, I would say, are there any myths or or things you heard during your journey that like stand out on like, obviously this isn't the right way to go about things?
Yeah. Okay. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was this think it was like in 2000 and maybe 4 or 5, when I was really, I still hadn't figured it out. At Lost we started working out, but I was still struggling. I started running, and then a friend of mine shared something with me. It had to do with eating some particular things like beetroot and it wasn't apple cider, it was something else. Just have a few of these vegetables and fruits in the morning and eat nothing else for the rest of the day. And then you would, in 3 days, you would lose weight. Of course, you're going to lose weight. So for me, the honest truth about things like this is they appear to work, but they are not sustainable. You can run for 2 hours a day or walk 4 hours a day or do something drastic and eat less. But the problem with anything that you see quick results is those results don't last. And another thing is a lot of people are still not aware of the fact that even if you see the pounds drop, it might not be, it's most likely not fat, So they are so excited, oh, I've lost 2 pounds, I've lost 5 pounds this week, or maybe even more. But the problem is it's not sustainable. So there are a lot of things. There are so many things going on right now. This day and age, and now these days, this 2024, without mentioning names of like a pill that everyone is trying to go on. But the problem is, as time is going on, people are finding out that there's side effects, or if you go off it. I know some people that have taken, I know them personally, and the struggle is they can't maintain what they've achieved because it wasn't done in a sustainable manner, so they are struggling now. So there are ways you can, in quotes, get lean quick, lose fat, lose all of that. But the problem is, if it's too easy to achieve, you most likely won't be able to maintain it. To be honest. And that goes for many things in life, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I agree. Typically, if it's too good to be true, it is.
It is too good to be true.
Right? And I don't know you guys' experience on this, but I feel like even with diets and whatnot, it's like the moment you're off the diet, effectively you're going to get the weight or whatever right back if you go back to the way you were, right? So
exactly, and that's the thing. So honestly, it's taking me long. I really try to sound ancient, but I have to say it's taking me over 20 years to figure this out, because they're thinking, okay, I have to go on this diet. I know that if I go on this diet for 3 months, I will lose this much. But the problem is, what happens when I go off this diet? Also, especially us women, we're like, okay, I'm going on vacation, or I'm getting married, or it's my 40th birthday. I need to look good. So you do all that, all that hard work is put in. But the problem is, you're going to go off it. So you have to get to a point. I know at the beginning, for some people, you do have to, maybe your calorie deficit has to be more than usual. But you have to get to a point where it's something that you can maintain. So the way I eat today, where I've gotten to now is the way I eat today, I can eat like that in a month's time and still know that I'll be okay with how I look. I'll still be in good shape. Because when we do that, I love what you said, when you do that diet thing, you don't realize it, but the diet is short term. Even if it's a year long, if you look at it that way, and you don't see it more like this is how I'm going to start eating for the rest of my life, then you're going to have a problem, because you're going to miss out on things that you want to have. And when you now have the time, when you've reached that goal and you've gotten married or you've had your photo shoots or whatever, like, let me just get back to work.
Yeah.
That's the reality of life, yeah.
Yeah, this is where I feel like with that, so I mean, like, you have a variety of friends, like certain friends that are a bit more fit, other friends that are a bit less fit. But I mean, like, I think I have a few friends that fall into the category of they'll do like a crash course diet, or they'll exercise, but they do it in the extreme. Like they'll do 2-a-days for 2 weeks, and it's like there's no human that can handle that. It's like your body will just give up on you. It's like, right? You have to do something. To your point, like, I heard this on Joe Rogan once, but I'm like, yeah, if I was going to tell someone, and I'm curious your perspective on this, someone who hasn't worked out for a while or who might be a little bit overweight, it's like, start 10 minutes a day for a couple days a week. Like that is more sustainable than working out like 2 hours a day.
I totally agree. Because I'll give you an example. There's someone that reached out to me, I wanted me to train her, and because of logistics, my diary, I just couldn't train her. And I said to her, before you get a trainer, how about this? Just make the time now to go on a walk, right? 3 times a week. 30 minutes. Let's make it that simple for you for now. Just go on a walk. I'm not going to tell you about the intensity, intervals, or power walking, nothing. Just start with that. Then we'll talk in a couple of weeks. I said that because I want her to get used to having that time carved out for her exercise. Then the plan was, next thing, okay, let's increase the intensity. Next thing will be vary what you're doing, so not just walking. Then do a bit of strength training. You know what? Let's not just start with what you said. Literally, start to bring it into your life that it doesn't feel like you're disrupting your life to exercise. There is no way. I don't care what anybody does. Even if you're someone that has no job, working out 2 times a day.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're going to get tired of it. Even if you don't get bored, your body will tell you that it's okay, you can't do this anymore. So I love that idea of just start with little bite sizes, little things that you can handle. But obviously, because you know you have to achieve a goal, you start to build up on the little that you start with. Definitely.
That makes sense. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, you've said a lot of things, and to be sincere, I resonate with some things you said. But then I want to take you back to when you said, when you cited an example about, okay, if I were to, jump on a diet model where I just take beetroot, and for the rest of the day I'm not going to take anything. But I wanted to ask that, I mean, I've had people who that actually started something like that. Then after a while, like, okay, if you can do that for 7 days, then you can add maybe, aside going lean for the whole day, you can add maybe chicken at night, then maybe chicken and yogurt, something like that. Just eating healthy. But they get that drastic drop in size within a week, a month. They just maintain it with a stable and convenient lifestyle like that. Would that work as well?
So I would first of all say, like, it's not a one size fits all thing. So it's possible, like, I'm not going to just rubbish that and say it's not possible. It's possible that could work. But there are many factors. And it's how you start, to be honest. If you start that way with such a huge deficit, be ready, you know that you most likely will gain a bit of that back. And remember that most of what you lose at those first couple of weeks is not fat. So even if they see maybe because there's less water retention or something else, they're not, let me say, they're not real results. Now, the problem I have, and again, it came with years of experience, personal and with clients, most of us, we go on these diets because we want to look good. Let's be honest, it's mainly to look
100%.
good. Yeah. I'm not thinking about, I want my heart to be healthier, I want to be fitter, let's be very honest. So because of that, that's why we end up doing these drastic things. Because you know that if it was for your heart to be healthier, you wouldn't do something so crazy, because it could in fact end up hurting your heart. You could have a heart attack if you do something crazy, right? But because our motivation, let's be very honest, thank you, is more on the physical side. That's why we do things like that. So this is where we have to start changing our mindset. I love what's going on nowadays. People are having a more holistic approach to fitness and nutrition, because we're too motivated by how we look. And unfortunately, I'm in my 40s now, so I'm hearing people talking about, if it's not Ozempic, it's about fillers in the eyes here, and we're doing this, and talk there. So we're so focused. Everything I just said now was nothing on my health. It was about how I look. So because of that, we do things like that. So I think for something like that, I know it could work. If you say I'm not rubbish in it, but most of the time it doesn't, because those results that we achieved in the first few weeks are not sustainable. Because some of them are not even real, like it's not actual fat loss. So someone could do that, but why do you want to start so drastic? I remember, if you give me one moment, I'll talk about this. I remember when I had this program I did years ago, when I was starting to get back in touch with my Nigeria, because I was in the UK for like 16 years. I was trying to just get back in touch with Nigerians and do plans for Nigeria. So I had a virtual program, and I remember that it was 28 days. I called it Train My 28. I remember very well. I even had an ebook about that. And I remember that what I used to do was the first week just go cold turkey, no sugar. And for a long time, I stood by that, because I felt like people would then, because they did that, some people, what would happen is they'll do that, and when we start bringing in a bit of sugar back in, we're able to appreciate that sugar and keep losing weight. But the problem was there were some people who could not handle cold turkey. And after trying if they managed to do that 1 week, when the sugar came back, they literally went crazy with the sugar. So that's what I'm trying to say. Some people, we can't do a one size fits all. So although that works for some people, even up to now, where they just scrap everything and go cold turkey, it's not realistic. and it's not sustainable for some people. And some people will tell you, like for me, if you tell me not to do something, I'm very, I'm a Christian, very spiritual, and read lots of Bible. We've learned that if you tell someone, don't touch this,
Then I'll judge.
they want to touch it. So
Curiosity.
even if they don't touch it,
Yeah.
and they hold back, when they have the freedom, or when their agenda creeps up, imagine, don't touch sugar, no sugar. I'm like, okay, in 1 week I'm gonna have sugar. I'm gonna have sugar.
True, you're looking
I know I'm
forward
gonna
to
do.
it.
I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have that, and you just start making plans. So that's why I've now seen that I've learned again from experience, not even personal, but from my different kinds of clients, that you can't do the same thing for everyone. So it could work, like I said, but really, to what end and how long will it work? Let's think about that. So I'm not going to say that can work, but the person has to do is possibly with better you do with a professional, so they can really tell you, and you should be very disciplined as well.
Yeah.
And they will tell you how and what to add back. But I can tell you that for most people, it probably won't work.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense too, because you're saying it needs to be a lifestyle. So if someone is able to slowly bring stuff back, but be healthy,
Yeah.
effectively it's become a lifestyle.
Yes.
But I agree with you, for most people, and I think it's human nature, it's like you've done nothing but a juice cleanse for a week, you're gonna be like, okay, I deserve to now
Yes.
eat carbs. It's like, when it's gonna be very
Yeah.
difficult to
Yep.
not overload afterwards.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
I also think it also applies to even the aspect of training, the exercise. I was telling you a couple of weeks ago about the fact that I've experienced where people would come to the gym with the intention of, I want to burn some fat, very fast, to train up for December, Christmas and all. But then the trainer puts you on rigorous exercise the first 1 week that you come in. You get pressured. You see other people doing this 30 sets, 20 reps, and I'm like, okay, I'm not coming tomorrow because you look like the odd one out. So you can't even lift some weights, you can't do anything. So I think I can really resonate with what you're saying. So you are practically trying to say that it's better to start small and from there go on. Gradually.
Yeah, and like what we say for everything, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
And we have to stay in our own lane. It's very difficult, I'll be honest. Even for me, I had someone I was dealing with and I was thinking about earlier today, and I was like, God, please help me to focus on my own journey. But that's the thing,
It's difficult.
it's so difficult. You go to the gym, like even for me, like I keep having to remind myself, Adora, you're not 25. No, I'm not trying to give myself excuses to then just let myself go. But at the age of 43, I cannot expect to achieve what I would look like what a 25-year-old looks like. And but sometimes you just find yourself looking at things, look at how, and I was watching a trainer, I was doing a class online once, I was like, wow, look at her on the bike. The way she sits, and if I sit like that, I would have a fold right there. I want, and you can't help it. I'm supposed to be working out, and I'm not looking at the trainer, thinking, well, I'm a trainer too, I should look like that. So really for all of us, we have to get to the place where, remember, why am I even working out? But that's what I'm saying. If I'm working out because I want to look like that trainer, that's where I've already caused a problem for myself. Why am I working out now? I want to look good. Don't get me. I definitely look like I work out, and I know I'm lean or leaner than I would be if I wasn't working out. But I'm also very healthy. When I think of my fitness levels, my heart health, the fact that I hardly fall ill, and I know, thank you, Lord, by the grace of God as well. But I know on my own side, I'm taking care of myself. Those are my reminders. But I'll tell you that there's still that temptation to look out there. So if someone goes to the gym and your trainer is putting, you have to just remember, why am I here?
Okay.
And start to measure your own your progress against yourself. Because if not, I'm telling you, I can tell you, I can find people that will make me feel like I'm obese right now because I'm looking at the wrong people. And I look at someone that's running a marathon today, I think, why can't I run a marathon? Am I kidding? Have I trained for a marathon? Am I a runner? I'm not a runner. I don't run long distance. I've done half marathons in the past, but I can't do a half marathon tomorrow because I trained for that half marathon. It was a 13-week plan that I followed. So I think for all of us, we need to focus on our own journeys in everything, but particularly now because we're talking about this in our fitness journey, because you're always going to find someone that's fitter than you, always going to find someone that looks leaner than you or has your dream body. So are we going to keep stressing ourselves out? I think not.
Oh yeah, but I also like to ask that. Okay, even despite the fact that you talk extensively about the fact that the why should always be about your health.
No, well, I would say always, but you should have that part
There
of
should be a
it. Yeah,
component.
there should be a component
But
of
then I
it.
also say probably there could be it could also be, I mean, me trying to burn my belly fat and look
Mhm.
good for the gram could be a mix to an end as well.
It
I
is.
mean, yeah. So
It is.
we what gets me to the gym and to start all this.
Yeah, get into the gym, but if that's what you keep focusing on, that means if you don't lose the fat quick enough,
Yeah.
then it's going to be a problem for you. Now think, no, let me do something more drastic. Meanwhile, if you're thinking more about your health, then maybe because it's like a certain number of inches, that once you're above that number of inches for your waist, then you're at a higher risk of diabetes and heart strokes and all of that. Imagine if that was the motivation and you got to 1 inch below that. That would excite you more than if you're like, oh God, I've not lost that extra inch I was supposed to lose. Why? Because I'll look leaner. So that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting down here and telling you I want to look good too. I'm not going to be here and be like, oh, self-righteous and say, oh, I'm only working out because of my health. I just want to extend my life expectancy. That's not the only reason, to be honest. But if you have that as a strong why, is what I'm saying, then when you have setbacks, you won't be as hard on yourself than if your focus is more on the physical. And it's not every time that people go for the physical that when they start working out that they start to realize that, oh, there are more benefits. Some people don't even, I know people, they don't even see it. They don't see that they're getting healthier, they're feeling better. That, I don't get restless and breathless when I go up the stairs. They don't even notice that because they're still like, I'm still not where I want to be. I don't look that way. So you might have that kind of mindset, but trust me, some people don't even because they're so focused on how they look.
Thank you.
I'm curious, but kind of like touching on that, you'll see a lot of these viral clips on TikTok or YouTube where, what are your thoughts of influencers or folks in the gym that are like setting up a tripod and recording themselves? Because the rationale being, like you touched on this, you come to the gym, you're not used to the gym, you see a bunch of people doing stuff, you get potentially afraid or less likely to go back. Now you start seeing influencers with tripod, and you're like, I don't want to be on camera. You know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts? With that culture?
So here in Nigeria, it's not as easy. I was recently in the States, in the gym that I go to, they actually sent an email to everyone and said, no one's allowed to record anymore.
I love that.
And I thought it's gotten that bad that people have to, because people didn't care anymore. I mean, because I post on social media, I sometimes record in the gym,
Sure.
but then I'm trying to find a little corner here, trying to, and because I'm thinking nobody wants, what have I gotten the permission to do my video?
Yeah.
So that side of people don't care, just want to just have content. And you've even seen all those things out there now that people make fun of. Yeah, I'm sitting out there, I'm doing my own thing. Next thing I see someone that is trying to use the pull-up bar the wrong way or the leg press, and I record it and it's content. So I think all of that, that's all, I don't agree with lots of it. I get the place of, that's someone's, livelihood, that's where they make their money from. But everybody has to be considerate.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
Have to be considerate. But at the same time, I can't even go. That's like another conversation. Because as someone that has been in the fitness industry for such a long time, I just see these people now that just come up from nowhere because they have great bodies and because they work out. And the person is a trainer and say, try this, do this 5 days a week, and you'll be this in 6 weeks or whatever. I'm just thinking there's so much rubbish online now. But it's not just in the fitness industry, to be honest. There are people that tell you how to make money. That there are these schemes out there on how to, a business will be this size in 6 weeks. So it's everywhere, and that's where we need, we need to be more educated by ourselves. So as much as I'm your personal trainer, how about you? I love it when I have clients that say, Atra, I heard about this. What do you think? I'd like you because I read this. I saw this article. That's what we should be doing for ourselves. If not, apart from the influencers that they don't consider others and just do what they want to do, then let's also not let them, pull us in to whatever thing they're doing, because they're most likely not doing it. You find out this how that some people have, they've had a bit of surgery here, a bit of top there. They are on certain things that are helping them to burn fat quicker or reducing their appetite, and then you're comparing yourself to them. I have a friend who introduced me to someone online years ago, and she was following her for years, and she was like, "This girl has my body type." And I know that if I work like she's working, I'm going to look like her eventually because flat abs or African women are like hips, bum, all of that. She was so excited. Only for the girl to confess a few years ago that it was all she got implants and I think BBL, yeah, kind of thing. Unfortunately for her, what happened, she did it like low budget, and then she got that flesh-eating bacteria thing. So she kind of capitalized on that. So that's a different story. I went to a TV show in the States, and they took out all of the everything that she put in. She lost it. In fact, her skin and her thighs were like a bit dented and messed up because of that. But what I'm trying to say is, my friend was so upset. She felt betrayed. Why? Because she looked at this girl and thought, you have my kind of body, so I'm not going to be looking at people that don't look like me. I'm going to look like you because of what you're doing. But that's not what she did to achieve her body. So there's just a lot going on online, and this is why, again, we all have to be educated. And you don't have to be a personal trainer. You don't have to go for a certified, you don't have to be certified as a trainer or anything. Why don't you learn about what you're doing? Why don't you learn the benefits of walking, strength training? Why don't you start with that and learn about being realistic with your goals as well?
Yeah, I also like touching on that. So I don't know it as much from the female perspective, but from the male perspective, it's like, and I think folks are trying to make it a bit more transparent, but there was a ton of times where like kids, and I think this is the worst, like 18, 17, 16-year-olds would be like, okay, if I work out like that guy, I'll be like that, but like the guy was on steroids or something, right? And it's like, and I think it's really detrimental to kids that are impressionable, because then they're gonna be like, oh, well, I'm doing that. Why don't I look like that? What's wrong with me?
Yes, exactly. And that's where we're going now. It's affecting like people are becoming more and more insecure.
Exactly.
And trying to do anything that they can to achieve those results. And that's how they start taking steroids as well.
Yeah.
At young ages.
And it's crazy how, like, I would say steroids, it wasn't even something that I don't think anyone spoke about when I was in high school. Now, like, you go on YouTube, it's like tons of high schoolers, teenagers are taking steroids, and I'm like, I've seen some teenagers that look like they're 40 but they're 20, and it's because of steroids.
And
like,
they don't realize, I have someone I know, her son is doing some bodybuilding competition in the UK. And she's like, Andrew, I can't believe it, but they've had to say in the name that it's a non-steroid something competition, because I've never heard of. I've never heard of that before. But it has to, because now you can tell that most people are taking steroids for this stuff. So really, let's not even talk about that. But the point is, you can see that now it's become so mainstream that they have to say it in competitions that okay, steroids are allowed or they're not allowed. Becomes so normal now. So
yeah, I mean, like with the advent of the access of technology or information through technology, I think there's goods and bads. And I think that's the bad, right? It's like everyone's doing so much. So
and it's so easy to find these things now. I remember when I was, and that's why I said it keeps sounding like when I told my younger cousins, I'm like, yeah, I sound like I sound ancient. But when I was, we didn't even have Facebook, Instagram. What? When I was in my A levels and even early years of uni, we had a couple of platforms like maybe MySpace, High Five, and we did. But now there's so much. All these shorts, all these clips, reels. In 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you see something that you're like, oh, I want that, and it's very easy for you to find whatever it is that is there now. But there are good things as well. I've learned so much on the internet. I've learned a lot. But then, like you said, I think it's all about you as an individual.
It is.
So it really is.
It gets filtered out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to teach everyone, to your point, because there's so much information. I think it's critical to teach people how do you find information and then check the sources to ensure the information is correct.
Yes.
That's something we do a disservice to folks that are younger if we don't teach them.
Yes. And I think that there are some. When I listen to like my nephew who is 12, I can see that for him, anything I tell him now is like, hey Google, is this true? I feel like it's interesting because Google will give you results of if it's true or not, and say, okay, I'm not sure of the answer, but check out these results. I'm like, wow, I wish I had that in my own time. But at least I love that he's curious enough to ask. He's not just like, oh, auntie said this, so it's right. So I think that's what we all have to do for ourselves. We're actually doing ourselves a disservice by not confirming. And that's why even a lot of fitness trends are out there. People, you can actually check. If someone tells you that if I walk 3 days a week, will I lose weight? Okay, is that true? What's the evidence? And they might tell you that okay, you have to walk at a certain intensity, your nutrition also counts, all of that. I'm not just going to walk 5 days a week and I'm going to be three dress sizes smaller in 6 months. There's more to it. So, and that's just even for on the fitness side and things that you can do. And then all of this, everybody has to check. I love it now. People are more curious. What are the side effects of this? I'm going to tell you that because it's still pretty new, we don't know yet. Let's be honest. As people were scared of taking vaccinations a few years ago because they didn't know what the long-term effects were. And can you blame them? Because we've seen that many things, when you find out the long-term effects, it might be too late because you've already taken it. So people that are doing these things now, what are the long-term effects of taking steroids? People don't know about these things. They find out later and they're, oh, some people are, I don't want to talk about them, but I know people that have had certain things that have affected their lives now because of what they did 15, 20 years ago. And now they don't even care about how they look that way that they did because it's like, that's nothing, it doesn't matter to them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like we all need to take informed decisions. I think even if you're educating people, I'm telling you, wherever their minds are, they're going to filter out the education. So it's like everybody needs to be responsible for themselves, and also they need to get that mindset and say, I need to do this for my health. That's what I keep saying. If your health is in the mix, then there are many things that you won't do.
Yeah.
A steroid is good for me.
Yeah.
What's going to do to my health? Is running good for me? What's going to do to my health? You know, if I run excessively, I met someone that because they ran all the time, I met him years ago, I said he had a double hip replacement surgery. Now that doesn't mean anyone should not run, people shouldn't run. But he said he learned that he did too much. He did too many ultra marathons. He did too many marathons. He was always running on the road, so pavement, that impact all the time. That's what we need to hear. So I'm like, okay, I love running, but I'm not going to kill myself running because I want to be this size. I'm going to just keep pounding the pavement. I have to wear the right shoes. That's how you find out these things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you learn the hard way, like he has learned the hard way. He's only 50 something, and he said he's had double hip and one knee.
Wow.
I mean, one hip and his one hand. And this is someone that was active. I was supposed to say, when you're active, you increase your chances of, but then you end up supposed to help your bone density, your bone strength. But because you were doing all that, you did it in excess, you end up doing a problem.
I mean, balance is the key of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's like I feel like also a rabbit hole you can go to, like for like the tick vaccines and whatnot. It's like it's tricky because I feel like depending on who's in power, who's got money, certain information gets propagated, right? It's like I would say the biggest biggest crime of our generation is what, like the food industry pushing sugar and pushing the narrative that oh, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you exercise. That's not true. In my mind, it's like 70% is the kitchen, 30% is the gym, right? So it's like when you hear stuff like that, it becomes even more important to not just verify. It's like double, triple check the sources,
I believe
right?
so. Yeah. And I mean, Nigeria, we don't have. It's not so bad, but without naming countries, there are some countries that they say the people that are actually supposed to be setting the standards, they have a cut in, if they promote this or they promote that,
Absolutely.
they benefit from it. So you're thinking that, look, let's be real. As much as we can sit down here and say Nigeria, there's so much corruption, I think that corruption is quite open. We actually can see it. There's a lot of things going on in the world and in like more developed countries that I like. What you don't honestly, she doesn't make me think about it. It's not just verified. It's like double because your first verification might be with something that actually aligns with what. And maybe I'm not saying it's the movie and the conspiracy or whatever, but let's just say that people are. You can get the right results at the top of searches on Google with whatever you need to do. And this is not sinister, it's just what happens.
Just money talks.
It's money. You can get, I remember when I saw this search engine optimization, I found out that if you pay this much, your results will be on the front page.
Yeah.
So you have to check again. And if something is important to you, you will do what you need to do. And if your life is important to you, and even if your looks are important to you, then I want to look this great without it affecting my health, then I'm going to do the work. So even if my primary reason is how I look, my health is still part of it.
Yeah, I mean it's quite interesting because like anytime you see like it's fun, like it's funny where you'll talk about something, someone might push, oh look at this article, well, look at this research study. But it's like, who paid for that research study? Oh, like Coca-Cola paid for this?
Yes.
Apple,
When I
that's
tried to find out, I didn't even know that it got that bad. Like,
Right.
they actually have, yeah, and obviously you give them favorable response. So you that you're checking, you see this research, this study was done. But who did the study?
Yeah. Who
And
paid
then be
for it?
favorable
Yeah.
to them. Wow, honestly,
Yeah.
you have again and again, you are responsible for yourself because they're not going to can't come back in 10 years or 15 years and say I took this drug and you didn't tell me the truth. Well, you took it, and unfortunately, there was not enough evidence yet, or maybe you didn't even check, and nobody said you should take it. Especially when it's not like it's been prescribed to you, but you saw that everybody was doing it and it was working for them. I understand that people like I get this because I used to have issues with my when I tell people like I was talking to my friend about the weekend, actually I don't tell people how huge you were. I know the challenges of gaining weight and trying to lose it. I definitely know. I know it can get frustrating, especially when you get older, it's not as easy. I know all of these things. But I also understand that my life is very important to me. I want to do everything I can to take care of my life. Not even my health now, as in my life, to keep myself alive. Whatever is in my own control, 'cause I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I get that. So I think that as much as we like to make excuses or we have that valid-ish reason of, I wanted to do this because I struggled, I think you still owe yourself to actually do due diligence, do what you need to do to find out these things. But there's so much information. Honestly, this digital age, actually, like I feel like my mom's generation. Honestly, I wish things were like the past, but I feel like that now because there's just too much information online, and
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. There was someone was giving a speech and they were talking to the crowd and then they pinpointed to an individual and they're like, right now, and the gentleman was like young, maybe he's like 20s, early 20s. He's like, would you trade places with Warren Buffett right now? And the kid's like, obviously no, because Warren Buffett's old. He's like, what does that tell you? Your time is more important to you than money. But like that kind of goes along with like, yeah, your time, your body is your most important asset. Like you
Most
should,
important.
yeah, you should. And it's like, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but it's like, I feel like we oftentimes also, and it's human nature, we want to hear certain things. So it's like, okay, I might be overweight because I'm big bone. It's like, well, it would be easy to tell yourself that, but the truth of the matter is, while that might be the case for a very small minority of people, it's likely you wanted to indulge in certain things, and that led to this. And it's like, you can be like, oh, but this study says that. It's like, you can find a study that tells you whatever you want.
Yeah, but then if you find that study, then you should go and check.
Right?
Just check and see if you are truly big bone.
Yeah.
I remember when I was saying my mom used to tell me someone was chubby. I know, leave my just I know she's just big bone. No, so cute. But obviously I wasn't that big bone. Yeah, I think I'm actually quite heavy for my I am heavy, so maybe I have denser bones. But it wasn't what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Because I found out later on actually my bones are actually quite dense. But it's
Absolutely.
definitely not what my mom was talking about. So
Yeah.
you will find whatever it is you're looking for. I totally agree with that. Whatever it is you're looking for, you find. You can find an excuse for why you do what you do. If you look for it online, there's everything. I'm telling you, there's nothing. I feel like there's nothing new anymore. You can find it. So I must say your heart has been in the right place. I don't want to use it that way, but I'll say you have to be very honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and know what do you really want. Because if you're not, then you're going to end up making yourself out to be a victim of what the world gives to you. But what did you want? What are you looking
Exactly. And what did you do to achieve it? You know? And this is why I think it's like, and I think you said this, and I think it's key. Being honest with yourself, I think, is extremely important. And the reason why I say that is, for me, for example, I know that I have very little impulse control for certain things, like sugar, chocolate. So I refuse to go down that aisle. I won't even go down that aisle in the grocery store. I'm just not going to have it in the house. But there's other people that are the opposite, where they're like, as long as they can get one
Like a
cookie
bit
a
of
day,
it, yes, they'll be-
that's enough, and then they don't binge. But I'm the opposite. If I have a box, the box will be done.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Just know
right?
yourself.
Yeah, know yourself, and then based on that, plan accordingly or act accordingly.
Yeah, so you see that someone like you could have been like one of my clients that you could do that cold turkey
Yeah.
for a week. But some people, they literally feel like they're starving, they're suffering. So when they get the chance to have it, they go crazy. So someone like you, if it's anywhere around me, I remember doing videos years ago on YouTube. I used to upload like what to do and what I used to do. That was me. I didn't have these things at home. I did not have them in the freezer, in the pantry, nowhere. They were not there. And yes, I knew I had easy access. I could stop by at the grocery store, and buy. But I didn't buy those things. Then come the weekend, I'll treat myself to one thing. I know that this is the weekend. Even if it's going to be the top of ice cream, I'll finish it that day. But I know that come Sunday, Monday, I'm back on it. So you have to know what works for you. You have to know if you're one of those people that like, you take example yourself, so that you don't then say, well, this worked for this person did that. No, we're all different. And that's why when you give the example of if someone goes cold turkey, I cannot speak for every single person. It can work for some people, but it's a very few people because there are other factors there. And it has to be done in a particular controlled manner because you don't know what the right thing to do, the right nutrients and all. So yeah.
Yeah, and kind of going along with that is like I have a friend and he was kind of talking to me about this, and so like two friends were debating about this, and one friend's like, yeah man, I know myself, after work I'm tired, so if the gym's not literally down the street, I'm not gonna go. And so he legitimately got a gym member right there, and the other friend was like, I travel a lot. So he's like, I don't want to have to go find a new gym at every place. So like, I need a gym that's chain effectively, right? And so same, like he went to a gym that is like in effectively every city. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. It's like know your lifestyle, know what you're going to be doing on the daily.
Yeah.
Try to make your own life easier.
Yeah, you have to, and I love that now. We have digital platforms now. So many different companies. You can work out from home. You can have there's even an app that I use now. Not that I'm a trainer, I can train myself. I realized that I was spending too much time on my workouts. So a 1 hour workout would take me an hour and a half. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to get one of these programs online. The platform that has everything that I need. My strength training, my yoga, my walking, running, all of it. So that way, I have the gym in the palm of my hands. No matter where I am, I'm here in Lagos, I travel to the UK, I go to Abuja, wherever it is I'm going, I have it. So, and I even have the option of, if I don't have weights, I have other things to do. So that's even another option for someone that travels. So I think that with all developments that we're having now, everybody, there's something for everyone. Because there are people that love to go to the gym, they can't do home workouts. I know some people that cannot train without a personal trainer. I've had 2 clients like that. They said to me, I have a client that trains at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. at time. But she's not here, so for me it's not so anything, but she's in the States, so it works. So for her, she's like, look, Andrea, I'm telling you this, I'm not sure for all my sessions. But if you were not training me, I won't get up. So she's like, I know that you're really impressed by me. But remember that the reason why I'm impressed is because I know that you're waiting. If not, I will not work out by myself. So you have to know. And I had a client here, she's like, Andrea, I know that yes, I used to look at my fittest client, I even told her she's fitter than me at the point, to be honest. She's like, I know you say it's a woman, but I cannot train if you're not training me, or if a trainer is training me. When I used to give her plans for when I'm away or she's away, she's like, I'll find a trainer for me. And I'll be able to do it. So there's so many, I love this. There's so many ways you can be. You can be a person that goes to just the one gym down the road. You can be someone that only works out in the morning. You go to a chain of gyms because you're a traveler. You can work out. You want to work out in your living room, straight in your living room. You buy some equipment. You want to have a personal trainer. You want to work out with your friends. Go to a gym and go for group exercise classes. You have endless options now. Endless options.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's no excuse, as you're saying. There's so much at our fingertips. Effectively, if you're not doing something, it's more because you just don't want to, or you want an excuse to say you didn't.
Let's be honest. Honestly, I used to. I'm so. Everyone's like I train. You just care about people so much. You always make excuses for them. I'm that person. I make excuses for people a lot. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, well, some things are clear. Let's be real. It's the harsh reality. But you have to take responsibility sometimes. Don't say, oh yeah, but it's not so easy for me. I've not found out what's for me. I don't really enjoy it. That's why I love that now. In the last couple of years, people have been talking a lot about discipline. Because if not, I'm going to be like, I'm not motivated. I don't feel like it. I don't really like this. I don't really like that. No, you don't like it.
About what you like, most of us will be working.
Let's be honest. Most people, exactly, even for your job.
Yeah.
So that's why now you're saying, okay, well, you can be disciplined to go to work. You can be disciplined to, I don't know, different things. but you can't be disciplined for your health. And you're saying because you woke up and you're not motivated,
Yeah.
then you should go to work. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's so much now for us that I finally I can't believe I'm like actually it really changed. But I think I'm being more real and helpful to people by telling them the truth that look, you can do it. Just find what works for you, but start somewhere because you can't say I still haven't found the thing that works for me. Well, keep trying things and something will finally fix. You find yourself more of these things. You just have to keep trying. You have to.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like you work effectively. People are typically working so they can enjoy life. So if you're working to the point where you're to the detriment of your body because you're unhealthy, this, that, the other thing, even the money that you make, how are you going to enjoy it? Like you're gonna be unfit, or you're not going to be happy with yourself. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If you can't go on a hike or if you can't go on a trip because I don't know, overweight, obese, health conditions, seems like a shame. What are you doing then?
Exactly. So I'm just like, I'm telling you, as someone like, yes, what motivated me to lose weight that first time years ago was because of how I looked. I'm telling you that as much as I'm happy with her, I'm happy that I look good. I'm much, much happier that I feel good. And that's why it ends up coming back. It comes back to
Yeah.
about our health. And I love that there's that movement now, even though there are too many other things that are like shadowing it. But there's that movement now more and more that people are talking about the well-being, your mental health. You know, people don't even think about like I don't care, I'm going to work out twice a day. Why? It can affect your mental health because if I fall there like I'm resolved to, you have to see the result. You don't see the results. You don't even if you have a health problem. I knew someone that had like an underactive thyroid. That's why she was gaining weight. But imagine if you're just like, no, I'm going to do more. Like, if she didn't find that out, she think there's something wrong with her. Someone else had an overactive thyroid. It was losing us over and people were like, you're so lucky. And she wasn't lucky because she felt like, I'm trying to eat, but I'm just getting smaller and smaller. So you can see how like health is always coming in one way or the other. And if you're just so results driven and parents driven, then you miss out on other things. And I just think that we just have to get there for ourselves as individuals, no matter what results it is that we want to have physically.
You know, touching on the mental health thing, so obviously I think mental health is becoming more popular.
Yes.
And I think we can talk about a lot of issues that come with it. Like how do you support your clients or what would you promote or to help with mental health, and how do you think that coincides with, you know, using like personal training or just training in general to help with that?
Okay, so first of all, I admit to myself that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist or any of that. So, you know, but we have a lot of research that has shown the benefits of exercise on mental health. Even from stress, even like people don't even understand how stress, you know, can affect their mental health. So I remind people about that. But then, as I said, I'm not sure you want to look great. I want you to feel good as well. And it's here and here. You know, your mind, your body, everything. So I also am one, but I listen to my clients a lot. So you know how people have like their hairdressers, women, and they tell them the secrets and say. I feel like with personal training as well, because you're in such close contact, people are able to talk to you. Sometimes you're just supposed to talk. So in the place of the benefits of exercise, which I make sure I remind them, so if they're not seeing the results they want on time, I try to remind them about why they're actually, with the other benefits of exercise, knowing that they came to me because they wanted to look good. But also I've seen the benefits of even having someone that is just a neutral person. I'm not even advising you, so they don't talk to me, I'm like, okay, so I think what you should do here is that, no, sometimes people just even need someone just to talk to them outside of their circle. So in my own little way, that's my own little way, as much as I remind them of benefits. Some of my clients have said to me that their initial sessions with me have really helped them. One just call me and say, okay, I want to train with you. And I didn't realize that. So what was the selling point? I didn't even know. So how I talk to them in the first session, the things I say to them already help them to look at exercise and their goals in a different way. But I'm telling you, I don't have a script. I think I've just gotten so used to it that I know what to tell the person. I don't care, no matter who the person is, it's not the money that motivates me. Of course, it's my livelihood, so I have to make the money. But I'd rather, when I'm done with you, a year, 8 years, whatever, that you live better than when you started with me. So you're healthier, of course, I like you to have achieved your goals and you love yourself more. That's what us women we don't. Like I said, I'm not going to tell everybody how to love themselves, and that's not my. I don't have enough qualification for that. But the difference of them, honestly, I'm not going to see themselves. Just see themselves as they are, love themselves more. So some of my clients are like, actually, you're always complimenting me. And when I just say, oh, honestly, the way you, maybe I can even be a squat, I'm like, wow, you haven't gone that heavy. Wow, you're doing really well. Like my client, I say, wakes up at 4 a.m. I commend her. I say, the fact that you wake up at 4 a.m., you inspire me. Because you're a mother, you have children. Just one, about one now. You do this, and you have a job, and you're married, so you have to think about your husband, your children, your job, your home, and you still make time to work out. So as much as you may feel tired sometimes, I still try and encourage. So I think encouragement goes a long way in helping your mental health. Knowing the best level helps you, but I really believe that if it's getting to a point where there's evidence to show that it helps reduce depression, all of that. But I'm not going to tell you that, oh, are you depressed? Oh, come, work out with me and I'm going to suffer from depression. I'm not going to lie and say that because I can't guarantee it. But I just know that it definitely increases your chances of doing better in addition to doing anything else that you are prescribed to do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Adria. You've shared a lot. And I mean, before going on break, I would like to ask, you've said something around it, but I would like you to go into maybe deeper into how you would approach maybe a fitness program for a newbie, someone who's just trying.
Okay, so how I would start a fitness program for them?
Yes.
So if someone is like a client of mine, my first thing is for them to get into the habit. So not necessarily that they'll start with just walking. I was just saying that someone that was not my client, that's why I start moving. But for most clients that are beginners, we start with the basics. Like for example, I do a lot of strength training with all my clients. Most of my clients are women. So strength training is key, it's important, especially for us women. As we get older, our bone density can start to decline. As we get from age 40, and strength training helps you to increase your bone density and reduce your risk of brittle bone disease and all of that. So for me, I want them to learn how to do lots of strength exercise. So things like squats, all of that, we start literally just body weight. I start them with things that sometimes even if it's an hour-long session, we spend more time on mobility work, things that are easier to not so stressful, because if you push someone, I'm that kind of person. If you throw me into the deep end, I'm not coming back. So we have to think about that. So I always start with what benefits them and also what I believe will be most. As I'm going, no, I'm ready. I want to sprint today. You have to start slowly. It's not only just to make sure that they come back and keep going, but also to reduce risk of injury, because people get injured from doing too much too early. So it's progressive. So it depends on what the person's goal is. I don't have a set way of doing it, but depending on what their goal is, you just go step by step. So it starts small, but you definitely start with this is like I said, strength training, no weights to start off. Let's look at the technique first before we start putting on load. Running, if you want to run well, you have to start walking. I did when I started running years ago, I did my first 5K. Remember the training plan said run for 30 seconds, walk for 30 seconds. I was like, whatever, I can do that. The first time, the 30 seconds, like 15 seconds, I had to stop. It was difficult. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I'm fit. And that's when I realized that, wow, I can see now why in the first week it was just run for 30 seconds, rest for a minute for 30 seconds. And over time, because I remember looking at week 4, like, what? Run for 4 minutes? Me? After I'd done that first week. But I got there. I did my first 5K in like 30 something minutes, and I did not stop once. And that helped me to see that you have to do everything, you have to just do it progressively. Don't just dump everything on them, because you want to either impress, and some people unfortunately want to impress people and say, I'm a tough coach. I need that.
So talking more about the routines, for example. So you mentioned something that it's usually about the goal. For someone like me, I came to make sure that I like to have a flat tummy, still aesthetics,
yeah, of course, that's fine.
Still related to my health.
Yeah.
I mean, would you still approach it like, would you still place me on a program that will still cover other aspects of my fitness or
Yeah,
fitness,
because
or
your all-round
just let me
fitness-
do my thing?
No, the all-round fitness is still key. And that's the problem. Most people are like, I want to be very strong. But people that are too strong with lack of mobility, lack of flexibility, and they get injured. So those things complement each other. You need them. Some people don't rest. They need to rest. So in addition to, yes, some things will be done more. You do more of specific things, of course, but you still have to be fit all round. The nutrition plays a part as well, so we'll discuss that. But no matter what your goals are, if you're not flexible, trust me, anything that is too tight will snap. I know people that have snapped their muscles, these are ligaments or tendons or everything because of tightness. You know, tightness around the joints or tightness in the muscles. So that's why it's important. Some people overtrain, and then one day they're doing something, someone has a heart attack, or someone passes out, or someone just the different things that can happen. So no matter what your goals are, I would still want us to touch on every aspect of fitness.
Thank you very much. So let's take a break.
Okay.
By the time we come back, we'll talk more about nutrition.
Okay, alright.
Okay, so welcome back. I would like to touch on still based on nutrition, but there's a current trend. I mean, sorry, not even trend. Something is currently trending on Twitter, which is about TJ Omori. So about his failed kidney
Okay.
transplant.
Who is that? Who is it?
TJ Omori.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so it became a thing today. He tweeted.
Okay.
He had initially tweeted that his brother gave him kidney, but somehow it failed. The transplant field. So I mean, you know how Twitter is. A lot of people have started. I mean, emergency doctors have started. Really, have been predicting the cause. It's alcohol. You take too much alcohol. It's really alcohol. But while I'm not going to buy into that, I still know the importance of nutrition, not just in terms of fitness, but in terms of even our health.
Yes.
So I mean, I would like your own opinion on how you advise people to balance nutrition with their fitness trainings, and even if there are other things that you would advise to cut out. If I'm going to take alcohol, for example, is there maybe a ration of alcohol to take? Stuff like that.
Okay, so I'm not going to really talk much on him because I really cannot say, you know, the reason why someone would, you know, even need a kidney transplant in the first place. I can't give all the reasons that could happen, and then even why, you know, there will be rejection of the organ, because that happens a lot, and it's not always about people's lifestyle. Sometimes when doctors explain, they say that they don't even know. Just sometimes happens.
That's the point. I mean, a lot of people keep pinpointing it to social, the lifestyle, everything.
You know, you can't. And unfortunately, all of us online now, we're now doctors, we're trainers, we're presidents, we're governors,
I mean,
we're
get
everything.
information from
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And exactly. We're experts now.
Yeah.
But I would say that yes, you know, fitness and nutrition both have a role in our health. Like I said, when I lost weight initially, like my major weight loss was all nutrition, right? So that whole calorie deficit side was there, but even when they made us eat, you could tell that there were some things that you can tell some things are not good for you. So really, when we think of our nutrition, we're thinking of our mortality rates, we're thinking of the health of our hearts. When you find out people that had heart attacks, it's not just because they didn't work out. Some of them did work out, but because of their either their lifestyle, because lifestyle is also there. To be honest, I would say lifestyle is a big part as well. Wait for this focus.
So what do you mean by lifestyle?
Lifestyle, like are you sleeping?
Okay.
Are you are you sleeping? Are you I'll put the nutrition, I'll put drinking, smoking, all that under. I'll put them together with nutrition kind of before I go into that. But how you take care of yourself on a daily basis is very important. What you're eating as well, what you're drinking. You know, there's so much sugar in lots of things that we drink. You know, so even the sugar intake, too much sugar, like they say, is actually not good for you. You know, so all of these things have a role to play, from type 2 diabetes to your risk of having things like high blood pressure. Because people think high blood pressure is only if you, sorry, but people say it's only because if you take too much salt. Like, no, it's not just that. Your diet plays a role as well. So what our bodies do with what we eat after. Like I even have a cousin that's a nutritionist. I'm going to work with you because I really feel like people need to understand, if you're having too much carbs, not just that, okay, when you have too much carbs, it means that you will be stored as fat. If you're having too much fatty, like processed fats, it will just be like, yeah, it will take a longer time to digest. What is it doing to your blood vessels, your organs? How does it affect you? And the weight that you gain from eating excessively, and then it also has impact on you, because even for people that are more overweight, let's be honest, when I was bigger, mom used to stop and say, "Okay, you're breathing heavy." I didn't even know you're breathing heavily, and it was from. But how did I get bigger? It was from my nutrition. So there are different things that affect our health, but if you look at it as a whole, because I'm not a nutritionist, I don't want to go into specifics. I'll say that what we put into our bodies affects our bodies in different ways. So for people that have issues with maybe even hydration. I remember my mom was in hospital when she fell ill, and I went to see her one day. She was sweating profusely. We found out that was a symptom of type 2 diabetes, because she's never had it before she fell ill, but it happened, and it was a side effect of something else. But I didn't realize that nutrition plays a big part, because nutrition is what will get you, let's say food is life. People that eat only like leaves and you think, oh, that they're not being realistic, but they're getting a lot of nutrients from this thing, not only leaves, obviously. And when I say leaves, I mean vegetables and all, just generalizing. But you can see that there are benefits to these things that are not they're not overcooked, they're not processed. So that food is life. So nutrition is very, very important. I'm not sure the question you asked at the beginning, to be honest, but I would say your nutrition is key for your health in general. And nutrition and fitness complement each other for you to achieve whatever your health or fitness goals are. So we need both of them. And you're even saying 70-30. Some people even say 90-10.
Fair.
Some people say 90% nutrition, 10% fitness. Especially when you're looking for, there's this quote that was going around years ago, abs are made in the kitchen. So people that are trying to have a 6-pack, they're telling them, look, if you want to have a 6-pack, it's not about you killing yourself. Yeah, sometimes, especially for men, I'm very jealous of men for this. Men can do certain things quicker and they'll see their results, right? But then, as men get older, when my friend was telling me he's 40-something, he said, look, Ajura, we used to have all the middle age stuff going on. He said, look, Ajura, I have this, I now have I have this, I can't get rid of it. So you might get away with it when you're younger and do whatever it is that you want, but you will get to a point where you see that your nutrition is going to have to be on point for you to see if you want to have good results. And even if you want to have general results, you also have to eat right. There's too much processed stuff out there. Nigeria wasn't like that before. They used to talk about, America, everything is processed. But now we're importing all this stuff. And all these cheap things that we're even getting because we can't afford the much. They're even worse, to be honest. People are talking about plastic rice and all these different things. So you can see that not just to achieve your weight loss goals, it's actually also very important for your health as well.
I'm curious, so, and this kind of ties along with the whole, so the US has a binge drinking culture. I think Nigeria has a big drinking culture.
The UK as well.
Right.
Yeah, even the UK. Yeah.
So my thought, and you touched on this, it's I think men in general tend to drink a little bit more. And so you'll see eventually folks transition from drinking to not drinking, but some don't. And then you're right, you're well, your metabolism's not the same. It starts to catch up. When you talk to, clients maybe that are starting to get to an age where it's starting to catch up, how do you talk to them about substance abuse? The substance being alcohol potentially or anything like that.
Yeah. So first of all, before I train anyone, we have a thorough consultation. So we go through everything. And the physical activity readiness questionnaire that I have, everything is covered. So I find out, you let me know what you eat, what you drink. And some people that people don't even know that they're addicted, to be honest. They don't even know, because I think addiction means that you're drunk on the streets and someone finds you 2 days later, you're passed out. They don't realize that if you need to have it all the time, you're getting addicted to it. So I find out from them how they are, and I let them know. So I won't go the angle of, since we're thinking of calories, I let them know that the amount of calories in this thing. Because in the UK, they sold the whole thing of, a glass of red wine every day is actually not bad for you. They've actually said that. They said that there are benefits to red wine, right? So even if you want to do that, they have to now say it has to be red wine. They didn't say a pint of beer a day. So there are different kinds of alcohol. Also with alcohol, you're drinking liquid calories. So I let them know. We look at how much they take in. And I said, okay, let's look at how many calories are in this. So even became faster saying, beer is bad for you, or this is bad for you, or what? Oh, and some people say, yeah, like I remember one of a wine glass I saw once that literally like was on Instagram. You could pour a whole bottle of wine into it, and I had a glass of wine. So I kind of use that angle first of all because you don't want to be like you don't want to sound judgmental and just say yeah you're drinking. It's not good for your health. You can kill yourself with that. No. So because I know that they want to lose, most everybody that comes actually wants to be a big leaner. So I say, okay, here's what we can get rid of. Some of the calories they're taking. So that's what we start off with. Then obviously, actually, trust me, most people know the problems with alcohol. They know, but they just say, I'm only a social drinker. I'm only a social smoker. That's why I'm not smoking. I had an uncle that died after I was 95. Was a smoker. He used to drink cigars. So if I told him that he shouldn't smoke, why?
Right.
I lived to 95.
Exactly.
So you know what I'm saying? Great uncle, not an uncle, my mom's uncle rather. So that's the thing. So people can give you can have cigarette packs that have people like having lung transplants or tracheostomies or whatever. It doesn't mean anything. So that's why I'd rather we start gently and just use the calorie side of things. Most people know.
So before we round up, I would just like to also know we've said a lot of things, but also for maybe newbies and even people that get so busy, what are your top tips for staying motivated? Because it's easy to start, but keeping on track is even great.
So the first thing is I'll say that you won't always be motivated. This morning I wasn't motivated to work out, but I did. I woke up and I just thought, you know what, I've had a cancellation, let me just sleep. But I still worked out, so you won't always be motivated. But I'll say one thing, find the things that work for you. So I wouldn't necessarily just say enjoy. I had a client that said, and I trained her for over 7 years, for she told me, she said, Adura, I hate working out. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? She said, Adura, I actually hate it. Well, I come because I know I have goals and I've achieved those goals. So that's one thing that made me stop with me. I said, not everybody is going to find the exercise that they enjoy, form of exercise. Some people even like walking outside. Yeah. So it's good to find something that you enjoy or you don't enjoy the least. You know what I mean? Like the negative like that. So and just start with that. So find what works for you, right? And understand that sometimes you won't be motivated. And I like what we said. If you still go to work even though you don't enjoy work. You know your motivation is your paycheck, right? Yeah. So you can use the results you're going to get as something that will motivate you. And that's why it's good to start because you find that you get some results at the beginning, and that's what will keep you going. It just and also I'll say start small. So that's why I said the whole thing of just start walking. So even begin. Don't even worry about power walking. Just make sure you just gradually progress because when you jump in at the deep end, you're most likely going to just run the other direction. So always find like I like everything that we said earlier today. Do you want to work out in the gym? Do you feel like the personal trainer is what's going to motivate you? You think working with a group of friends, we're all online, you follow the same plan online, but it's like videos or whatever. Do you like group exercise classes? Is that what motivates you more? There's so many options now that you can just have a taste of each of them if you haven't found what works for you yet. But I'm going to say discipline goes a long way. So that same discipline that gets you out of bed every morning to go to work. Or even if you don't have a job, like you don't go out, but you stay at home mom, for example. That discipline that makes you get up and say, I'm going to take care of my children. Whatever it is, find it, tap into that discipline and know that there's a reason. And mom, I want my children to have a good life. So I'm taking care of them. I don't want a child to fall off a bed or whatever, so I have to be there. I want them to have good values. So even if that's what it is, you have to find what it is, the goal that drives you every time to work out.
Alright, yeah. So again, you've been very insightful.
Thank you
So
very
as a
much.
wrap up, I would like you to share a success story throughout the course of your career that you're particularly proud of.
Let me see. I have. Okay, so if you might share two very quick. One of them is a client of mine who is in her 50s. I tell her that I will tell everyone about her. I've only been training her for like a year and a half. I remember when she wanted to train with me, and I didn't have the time that she wanted, the time available. I said I I just can't train her. But she said that she was just convinced that I was supposed to train her. So we found a way and started training her just once a week, and it ended up being twice a week. I look at her now and thinking, wow, I had a hand in this. She did all the hard work, don't get me wrong. Like, she actually showed up. She was the one client that no matter where she went, she traveled to the States, she traveled to whatever country, she was available for her sessions. And if you compare the person that started just a year and a half ago, that was in January last year, to the person now, it's like chalk and cheese. She said, when she said, she was struggling to get up the stairs. So many times I'm saying, for her, hers was going up the stairs, she was panting. Yeah. I train her at home, sometimes she runs up the stairs. Yeah.
That's nice.
Now, and if you are strength training, you think, okay, maybe she was doing like maybe bicep curls with 5 kilos. She's strong. Like, it makes I feel, because she has another trainer, because I couldn't do all the sessions, but she trained someone else that I know. So both of us, and both trainers and her, I have to give it to her. I'm looking at the success story. Looking at a 50-something-year-old woman, she was born, she's 54. She's fitter than some 30-year-olds or 25-year-olds I know. She works out with her sons. Her sons are 20 and I think 19. She works out with them. She wants to go more often. Like, oh, I can't go with him because I don't like the gym he goes to. So that is exciting for me. And another chance I had, very quick, when she came to me, she had been overweight when she was younger, and she lost all the weight. But she did it like in a very drastic manner. Okay, starved herself, and also was just doing lots of walking. So like when you saw her, like when she took off her clothes, she really didn't like her body. But looking at her, you think that she looked great, but she was slim. But her diet was really bad. She only eats once a day, and it was something sweet and a cup of coffee. And that's how she was for a long time. So within 6 months of her training with me, she actually started to see a change in the fact that she even lost a bit more, but she was eating 3 times a day compared to the one. So she was surprised that I'm eating 3 times a day compared to that one bit of sugar, pastry and sugar, and I'm looking better. And then over a year later, she actually saw a change in her body. Years later now, like I haven't trained her in a while because schedules and all. Last time I trained her at the end of last year. But now you can see that her life has changed, her lifestyle has changed completely. She's not an advocate for eating or like eating healthy. She's always trying out new things, like, okay, let me try this, maybe I have a vegan day or whatever day. But the point is that she eats more now, she's healthier. And when, another time I had realized that when she fell ill, there's a different one, that she was told that it was because of her lifestyle, that she was able to recover as quickly as she did. So for me, all of these things, as much as people have gotten, and my client here, she looks great, the one, the second one I took her, but even the first one, she was saying that everyone is saying that what happened, that she lost so much weight. Like, I've been losing weight for a year and a half, but they didn't know this something-year-old. But for her, it's about how she feels. So much as they all look great, which I'm very happy about. This is fitness, right? But for me, what stands out is more about how they feel about themselves. And I think they all feel the sense of achievement. I've done something very good for myself, and I actually feel healthier as well. So
it's impressive. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Dura.
Thank you so much.
So that was practically the last question. So I mean, you can talk to the fans. I mean, your fans. You can talk to our audience. To follow you on your page. Probably you get to see more first-hand routines.
Okay.
And of course,
And we'll link everything.
Of course, yeah. And okay, let's go.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening. I hope you listen to the end. I'm on Instagram at Adura_O, and my links to LinkedIn and other platforms are also there. So I'll just say Instagram Adura ADURA_O. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys. Don't forget to click on the follow button. See you next time.
Thank you.